This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we have created yesterday our DevOps account, dev.azure.com. So if you click on this page, you will be going into the home page. So I hope that everybody has sent a request to the Microsoft. Okay, you followed all the steps like whatever I have shown you, right? You got the error. Mm. Okay. So states is done, recording is on. Okay. So we want to use one project. So first I'll open the Git bash and let me clear whatever we have here. I just need to do this small things. If you are not able to come out of this prompt, see earlier you are not able to get this line right. If you want to get that line, do the Control C. So it will give you the prompt. Control C. See this? If I do Control C, what happens? It is giving me one new prompt. So let me just clear the screen and under this Lenovo and let me check the folders, whatever I have. rm minus rf. If there is key on, remove it. So I want to remove some of the new other folders, like if there is red bus, remove it because I might have used those files earlier. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now we are into Azure DevOps. In Azure DevOps, where did you store your code? Azure repos. So if you go to the project, so under Azure repos, you have stored your code. I want to have this copy. I like now I want to contribute some code into this repository. How can you do it? First, what you need to do, you need to clone the repository. So if you see the option here you have the clone option. So copy it. So copy and then go to git bash. And what is the command? Insert, shift insert. So it is going to copy the complete repository into your local. So once it is cloned, like it needs to ask me for the user ID and password because it's a private project. Yeah, see this. It is going to ask me whose account was that. I need to give the user account as HEMANTH REDDY 3045 at the rate gmail.com. Yes, this is the same GitHub account. HEMANTH REDDY 3045 gmail.com. Password is capital HYD and rate 123098. Looks like there is a glitch. So let me just cancel this again and do the git clone again. So I want to add another account and in the sign in options, I can look for sign in with GitHub. Hemant Reddy, right? HYD at the rate 123098. Not sure whether I entered the correct password or not. HYD at the rate 123098. Authentication failed. My authentication is getting failed. Sign in options. Sign in into an organization. Sign in with the GitHub. Fail to find the location service. It shows that the authentication issue. So let me just go to the credential manager and see whether any passwords are stored in this. In your case, you won't get this issue. because you are the only one who is using that. So here it is. Do we have dev.azure.com here? No, it's not there. Okay, that's fine. All certificates, dev matrix, GitHub only. We have GitHub, and that is related to Hemant only. That's fine, and not more than that. That's fine. Let's clear this and do the git clone one more time. Microsoft account and sign in options. What I will do is, I don't want to write this each and every time. dh 3045 gmail.com. Password is capital HYD 8123098. Right? Copy. Do like this. Since your Microsoft account is backed by GitHub credentials, we will send you the GitHub to sign in. You will be receiving the code to this. You need to confirm the code. Okay. 366 0052. This time succeeded. See, it is done. Okay. Now I want to navigate into that folder and see how many files are there. Readme.md, only one file. And you can see the same file here itself. This is the same file. If I want to add any files here, how can you add new? So click on these three dots, go to new file. I want to create file one. Just add create. And then if you want to write any content into it, you can write it. So you can write this is demo. Some random information. To which branch I'm committing the code? Main branch. Okay, commit the code. Now I have two files in the repository. If I want to get those file changes into my local, what is the code command? Git pull. See, I'm able to see that one file called file one. Okay. Now I have made the changes in the user interface. Now I want to make the changes in the local git bash. I am going to create file 2. After that git commit random message, and then see it will be pushed into where dev.azure.com Hemant Reddy account, right? So just refresh this. Yeah, whatever the same things that you have done in the GitHub, the same things here. Okay. Now I want to create a like earlier we mentioned, why do we use branches? We should not disturb the original code. So that's why we used to take a new branch. How can we create a branch here? So here main is there, right? So just use the drop down, create a new branch. The new branch name is called future. I want to get the code, whatever that is available in the main branch. So based on the main branch, create a future branch. Wherever you see the work items to link, forget about it. We will discuss that later when we are discussing about the boards. So create it. So in the feature branch also I have two files, and in the main branch two files. In the future branch I am going to make some file changes. So here this is a spelling mistake, right? I'm just going to edit this. I am going to edit this as this is demo. Which branch I am changing? Future branch. Commit the changes directly to the future branch. Now I want to create a pull request to match the changes from one branch to the another branch. Go to pull request. See, it is showing that future branch updated recently. So create a pull request. I want to merge the code changes from future branch into main branch. How many files are going to be merged? Only one file. Earlier it was like this. Now I changed it to this. How many commits I have done? Only one commit. Okay. Now just go down and create it. And once you've done this, it shows that there are no merge conflicts. So you can directly merge it, no problem. So you just need to complete this. And if you see here, different types of merge types are there. Merge no fast forward, squash commit, rebase and fast forward, semi-linear message. See this. If I do merge, see the diagram here. See if I do the squash, the image gets changed. If I do the merge, you can see the graphical user interface, right? So there is some graphics. What do you understand by this? How you are merging the changes. For example, this is the main branch. You have taken a future branch here. You made the changes and finally you are merging. See this. You created a new branch and you committed it and finally merging it into main branch line. Like this, it is going to give you different kinds of merge types. So based on this, you need to understand. So as of now, just go with the merge only, no fast forward. Do you want to delete the future branch after merging? No, I don't want to delete. Complete the associated work items. Wherever you see work items, ignore it. So just complete the merge. And see, it is merging the pull request and it shows that it is completed. Just wait for it and see it is completed. So Hemant has completed the pull request just now. Now go back to the files and verify in the main branch. And you can see that file one, the code changes are there, right? Okay. This is how you are going to create a pull request in the Azure DevOps. I want to see how many commits has been done. So go to commits. See, till this point it is fine. And after that they created one more branch and finally they merged it. By looking into the diagram you can understand. And you want to see how many pushes has been done. Push means a new commit will be generated, right? So this is the same thing. A new push has been done into the main branch. See the branches. How many branches are there? Future branch and main branch. So this is where you need to focus on. See, if you are the only one person who created the main branch and future branch, but in the real time there will be n number of people, right, who will be creating n number of branches. If you want to see them all, then you need to go to all. What the people will do the mistake is they'll go to mine and see that there is only two branches, but in the real time there will be, you need to go for all. So there you can see all the number of branches, and still is a different concept, forget about it. So mine and all, these are very important. Okay, pull request, you already seen how to create a pull request and how you can manage it. Now let's see some important features. How did you protect the main branch? Okay, not like this. Why did you create the branch? If there is any change in the code, we should not disturb the code directly in the main branch. So that's why I created the branch. Like this, n number of people can create n number of branches, and then what they can do finally, they can merge the changes into main branch. Is there any security in this? No. Then how do you provide the security? This is what important. If somebody wants to merge the code changes into main branch, I am a manager. I want to get the request first. If I approve, then only the code will be merged into the main branch. This is one scenario. The people will be like at the rate of file, like for example, consider a simple example like this. I have a file name called, I have something called file name. You understood, right? It is a file name. What I am doing here, I am giving a special character. I don't want anyone to use this kind of special characters. So can I restrict them? Yes. So that means what I am doing is I am just setting up some policies on top of the repository. So these are adding the number of reviewers, setting up the like case sensitivity methods. All these are called as policies. Why do we use policies? To protect the branches. That we will see now. So before doing that, first I want to show something. Now I am in Azure DevOps. Am I the only one who is going to Azure DevOps in my whole company? No. There will be a number of developers. So Hemant Reddy is an organization or a project? It's an organization. Like the same way, HCL is an organization. Inside the HCL organization, we will be having multiple projects. If you want to hire anyone, like for example, HCL has a requirement for a project. Are they directly going to onboard you to the project, or first HCL will give you the onboarding and then they are going to take you to the project? Simple. First, HCL people will hire you. Once they hire you, then they will allocate you to project, right? On an organization level, first they will hire you, and then they will allot you to the project. Like the same way, I have my organization as Hemant Reddy. If I want to invite any other user, what I need to do is first I need to invite the user on the organization level, and then I need to give them the access to the projects. So first go to organization settings and let's see. So in the organization settings, we have overview. So this is where it shows like some detailed summary of the project, like detailed summary of your organization. And see this. As of now, it is signed up with each user Hemant Reddy. So that's why it is an he is an organization owner. And do you want to delete this organization? You need to delete it from here. As of now, I don't want to delete. So these are some simple things. Go to projects. Under this organization, how many projects do I have? Two projects. Okay. This is where you need to add the users. So first you need to onboard the users on the organization level. Then you can allot the projects. For example, consider a scenario. I have two companies. One is Wipro and one other is HCL. For example, take this. This is Wipro organization and this is HCL organization. And say this. Wipro and HCL. In HCL, I have two projects. I have two projects in HCL and two projects in Wipro. If I want anyone to access Wipro projects, first what I need to do? There is a person, new joiner called Ramesh. I want Ramesh to access two projects in the Wipro. First, what I need to do? First, I need to onboard this person onto Wipro organization level, and then I can assign him the two projects. Like the same way, in one Azure DevOps account, there is the like is there any limitation that we need to have only one organization? No, we can have multiple organizations. Like we have two organizations, Wipro and HCL. I want Ramesh to access Wipro and Wipro only. So that means on Wipro level organization settings, I added this Ramesh. There is one more person called Suresh. Suresh needs to have access to both the organizations. Then, if I add Suresh to one organization, does Suresh will have the access to the other organization also? No. So on each and every organization level, you need to add the users. Okay. Let's see. So just take this users. I want to create a new user, and this is the administrator account. Like it's a user owner. Add the user. What kind of a user you want as? Like you can provide any email address or anyone. So I'm going to keep it something like. Let me see any email ID is logged into my system so that I will be able to see how the request comes here. Yeah. One email is logged in my system. Let me see what is that email ID. Yeah. Azure DevOps 235, right? So I'm just going to copy this and go back to this Azure DevOps, and I want to add that 235 user. Add the user. What kind of access do you want to give him? See the access: basic, stakeholder, and Visual Studio subscriber. There are three kind of access levels, right? So first, I want to know what is access levels and what kind of things does it is going to show me. So if you have any doubt, so just go to Google. What is the thing that we are looking? Access levels. In where? Azure DevOps. This is how you need to search. Take the keyword and search it in where you want to search it. See about access levels. See, what are the different kinds of access levels we have? Basic, stakeholder, Visual Studio subscriber, and basic plus test plan. Forget about this. This is not going to be available for you. So basic, stakeholder, and Visual Studio subscriber. How many number of people I can invite? This is the first question. Okay. What kind of access I can give it to them? Second question. If I have, third question is, if I have n number of people, just for the read access, can I give them or not? So these are the three questions. First, see, if you provide the basic access, he can access most of the features. So that means you are giving the full access to him. Assigned to users with a Visual Studio's professional subscription. If you remember, I told you already, if you are having a Visual Studio subscription, then Azure DevOps is free for you. So if you want to give access to the users who already have a Visual Studio subscription professional, then they can give, then you can give them the access of basic. And go to this stakeholder. This can be assigned to unlimited users for free. So if you want to give any outsiders or anyone, you can give them the access of stakeholder. And it provides partial access to the private projects. Partial access in the sense, like it's not full access. It's a partial access. Up to some point, they can utilize this. So you can provide partial access to the private projects and mostly full access to the public projects. But our project is private, so we can give them only partial access. And you can assign this to users with no license or subscription. So even if they have Visual Studio subscription or not, that's not going to be work. So if you give them the stakeholder, they'll get only access to some features. Let's go to Visual Studio subscriber. Assign to users who already have a Visual Studio subscription. If they already have the Visual Studio subscription, they can give them this access also. And the system automatically recognizes the user subscription. For example, my name is Ramesh and I am working in HCL. ramesh.a@hcl.com is my domain, like email address. If I give Visual Studio subscriber, what it does is when I log in with my name, whether with this particular ramesh.a@hcl.com, whether this person is having the Visual Studio subscription or not, it is going to check if you make this Visual Studio subscriber. Or else, if you want to do this, you can give the basic also. Both are same accesses. But what it does is it is going to look on the domain name, like you on the email address name. And the system automatically recognizes the user subscriptions Visual Studio enterprise level. And by using this also you can get an additional Visual Studio test plans and all these things you will get. That's fine. In real time you are going to use basic very much. Basic is the only one and stakeholder is the other one that you are going to use very efficiently in the real time. Okay, let's take this. So I want to give this person basic access. How many projects I have? Two projects. I want to give him the access to one project only. That project name is here. And see this: reader, contributor, and administrator. What does a reader can do? He can only read. What does a contributor can do? That means he can contribute. He can write, delete, modify, anything he can do. What does the administrator can do? He can also delete, modify, and create, right? Then what is the difference between the administrator and contributor? The main difference is if I am an administrator, I can invite you. But if you are a contributor, you cannot invite the other people. Understood? So administrator will be having more privileges than the contributor. As a contributor level, you will be able to create, delete, and manage all the things, but you cannot invite another user. So for this user, I am going to make him as a contributor and send email invite. See what happens. Once I send the email invite, what happens is I am going to get an email notification saying that you have been invited to the Azure DevOps. So see, you have been invited to the project in Azure DevOps. So this is how I am going to join now, and then I am going to see. As of now, it shows see different account, Sai, but mine account is Azure DevOps, right? So I need to clear the cache and then I need to do it again. So forget about it. So this is how you will be getting invited. Okay, and let's see. One user is invited. Let's keep this user aside. So I just added one user. At some point of time, I have added him only to a specific project. I want to add him to the other project also. Can you make the change or not? Once after adding, yes. So if you go to the users, this is the user, right? So click on these three dots. Change the access level, manage user, resend invite, remove direct assignment, remove from organization. You can do any of these. So manage user, click on the manage user. I made him as a contributor to this product, this project. Keep Redbus. I want to make him as a reader to the Redbus project. Like this, you can even change the access for the people. You go to users, add the user. Whatever you want to change the permission, click on the three dots. There you can manage the permission. Okay. Now I have created the user, and then let's go to settings and in the organization settings itself. As of now, which one we are discussing? Only the repos or pipelines? Repos, right? So let's go to repos setting. Gravatar images. What do you mean by Gravatar images? Some simple image. If the project is starting with Kia, K is the starting letter, right? In the K, you have seen one reticular symbol, right? Those are some Gravatar images. And there is one more point. Whenever you create any, see, these are some Gravatar images. So whenever you create any, so this one is Sanjay's. I don't want Sanjay. This is Hemant Reddy. Oh, okay. I just want to take the duplicate tab. Okay. Now I am in Kia project. Inside the Kia project, when I go to repositories, what is the repository name I have? Kia is the repository. Kia is the repository. Once I create the repository, what is the default branch I get? Main. Readme no. That is not a branch. That is a file. Main is the default branch when you create any repository. Main is the default branch that you get. I don't want this branch to be main. I want this branch to be master. Master or main. Anything is common. Same. Master or main. In some companies they used to call it as master. Some companies they used to call it as main. So whenever I create a new repository, the default branch name is main. I don't want it to be main. I want it to be master. Can we make that to happen? Yes. Go to settings, click on, click this, select this on. Default branch name for new repositories. Instead of main, what I want is I want master. I just saved it. Then go to the repos again. Let me create a new repository and see whether we are able to get that branch or not. What is the repository name? I am going to give it as demo repo. And see, your repository will be initialized with master branch. Understood? So like this, in a single project, I can have n number of repositories. See, demo rep is one repository, and Kia is one more repository. Like this, in a single project, I can initialize n number of repositories. Okay. If I just clone this Kia repository, am I going to get the demo repo also? No, that is a different repository. Repository means which can be stored something inside it. That is a repo. What you can store? A code. The code will be stored inside the repository. So inside a Kia project, I can have n number of repositories, and each repository will be having a each URL, clone URL. If you want to see that, see this. Here in the URL, if you see Kia slash underscore git, if I just change this to demo repo, Kia underscore demo repo. So the repository will be different, link will be different for each and every repository. Okay. Now that I have seen organization settings, and as of now I am working only for repositories, right? So in the repositories on the organization level, I have only two settings. That two done. Let's go to the project settings. So this is the project that we are discussing. Let's go to project setting. Inside the project settings, do you want me to work on pipeline, boards, or repos? Repos. Select this repos. See this, how many repositories we have? These two. Go to settings. What is the default branch name for the new repositories? From here also you can do it if you want to. Allow users to manage permissions for their created branches. So do you want to allow the users to create their own branches? You can give them the access. This is fine. In real time, it will be on because the developers used to create their own branches. And see these policies: repository wise policy and branch wise policy. In each repository, we will be having branches. So repository will be on top, and under that there will be branches. Now, what do you want? Like, what kind of policies that you want to set for the repositories? Commit author email validation. So people are going to commit, right? When they commit, they it needs to validate the email also, right? So if you want to, like for example, I have two people. One is Ramesh and second one is Suresh. And Ramesh is working in HCL and Suresh is working in Wipro. I want to block the people whoever is trying to commit the changes into this repository, and their email address should be something at the rate hcl.com. So what I am going to do for each and every person who works in the HCL, the email address ending it will be hcl.com only, right? I want to block the people who are trying to push from this domain. See, block pushes with a commit author email ID that does not exist or match the following pattern. If you want to block any kind of specific users, you can just refer their domain address in the end. And so that what happens when they try to push this at the rate hcl.com will be available in their email address. So that's why it is going to block it. And file path validation. Block pushes from introducing the file path that match the following pattern. For example, I have file pattern. First, block the pushes. See, I have home. Inside the home, I have folder called A. Inside folder A, I have B folder. Inside B, I have C folder. Like this, if they mention, if they try to push any code changes into these kind of folders, if you want to block them, you can block them. Block pushes from introducing the file paths that match the following pattern. Here, this is I symbol is there, right? You can if this is called as tooltip. So if you click on this, they will give you what is the helpful message for you. Expect the path begins with slash. You can specify the exact path and wildcards. You can also specify multiple paths using this quotation mark, like what do you call that symbol? Inverted comma. No, exclamation. No, I'm not getting that into my mind right away. Okay, with this symbol, I'll show you. This is the symbol. Colon. Then what? Then what is this? It is double colon. Then it is single colon. Okay. So block pushes from introducing the file path that match the following pattern. For example, if they are trying to push it from this location, try to block them. Like this, you can do it. And see this case enforcement. Avoid case sensitivity conflicts by blocking the pushes that change the name casing on files and folders and branches and tags. Here I have mentioned it file at the rate name. If they are trying to push the file, push any files with this kind of case sensitivity, block the pushes. Reserved names. Block pushes that introduce the files, folders, or branch names that include the platform reserved names. For example, in my Windows, program files is a default one, right? If anybody wants to use the program files in their code files, block the push. Program files is a default folder, right? Like that, I don't want to use some kind of default names inside my project. So if you want to use that, you can do this. Reserved names. Maximum path length. Block the pushes that introduce the path that exceeds the specified length. For example, under A folder there will be a B folder. Under B, C. Under C, D. Under D, E. Like this, how many paths they are going to mention? So, what is the maximum path length? At least there should be 10 folders, like A to some F or K, something like this. After that, if they try to again push some files into the folders and into the folders again some more folders, if they try to do like this, block the push. Maximum file size. What is the maximum file size that they can push it to the repository? Repository, if you see, as of now, what is the code that we have pushed? Only the text files. Can I push images? No. You can push the images also. I will give you an example. If you go to this, here, I can upload the file, right? If I have a simple image file, I'll try to upload that. See, even PDF is there, right? PDF also you can upload. Anything you can upload. So in repository, whatever the data that you want to store, you can store under repositories. Okay. Now, if I go to settings, what is the maximum file size that can be pushed into the repository? By default, it is 10 MB. You can make it up to 200 MB. The 200 MB file size can also be pushed into the repositories. So as of now, we have discussed only the repository-wise policies. Now consider this. I have a repo. The repo name is called something Kia. Kia is a repository. Inside this Kia, I am going to have master, main, or future, future 2, all these branches. I have applied repositories on the, I have applied policies on the repository level. Is it going to work for all the branches also? ఇప్పుడు నేను రిపాజిటరీ లెవెల్లోనే కొన్ని సెట్టింగ్స్ పెట్టాను. దోస్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ అస్ పాలసీస్, రిపాజిటరీ పాలసీస్. ఈజ్ ఇట్ గోయింగ్ టు వర్క్ ఫర్ ఓన్లీ దట్ రిపాజిటరీ ఆర్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ద రిపాజిటరీస్? Say this. So inside the repo, if you go to the repositories, I have two repositories. Let's take one repository. If I want to set the policies for one repository, you can do this by directly going into the repo. But what I have done was I have directly went into the policies and I was setting on all the repositories. Understood? Repository wise you can do, and also within a single project, if you have n number of repositories, if you want to apply directly, you want to apply it under policies. If you want to apply it only for a specific repository, you need to go to that repository and policies. See, same names, right? This is how you can do it. Okay. Now I have set the repository wise policies. Now I have one more requirement. Inside each repository, I have 2 to 3 branches. So let's take this, let's take this policies, and inside the policies, you are able to see branch policies. Why we use branch policies? To protect the important branch namespaces across all the repositories in the project. So if I enable branch policy, this is going to be applied for all the repositories inside the project. Now see this, protect the important branch. What is the important branch for you? Main or master? If you want to protect the main branch or the master branch, you need to enable branch policies. Now let's see how we can enable the branch policies. See, protect the default branch of each repository. What is the default branch of each repository? Main. So if you want to protect that, you can protect the main on all the repositories. And see the branching policies. Required minimum number of reviewers. What do you mean by reviewers? So someone should approve it. Those people are called reviewers. They will review and they will approve. I require minimum number of reviewers. Why we require minimum number of reviewers? See, earlier what we were doing is, if you want to change anything, I'm just creating a feature branch, directly creating a pull request and merging the changes to the main branch. Is there any security? No. Whatever I want to change, I can change by creating the branches. But this time, I want to protect the main branch. How? Because when if anybody is trying to merge the pull request, the request should come to me first. If once I approve, then only the pull request should be completed. In this way, I provided some security, right? And in this way also, I provided some protection to my main branch. Required minimum number of reviewers. I am going to keep at least one number of reviewer. If I am the reviewer, do you want to approve my own request? I created a pull request. Can I approve it by myself? Yes, if you want to allow, you can allow. Prohibit the most recent pusher from approving their own changes. if I pushed it and I again want to approve it, do you want to do that? If you just elect it, it will be also approved. Allow completion even if some reviewers vote to wait or reject. I have created a pull request and the request went to you. Then also, do you want to allow the completion even if some reviewers vote to wait or reject? For example, see, there are three kinds. There are four things. No, three things: approve, reject, wait. Three things are there. I'm the only one approver. If I approve, the changes will be completed. If I just keep it on wait, then also the PR is going to be completed. This way also you can make it. Allow the completion even if some reviewers wait to vote or reject. When new changes are pushed, whenever the new changes are pushed, I want this reviewer to approve. Then automatically the PR should get completed. PR means pull request. So if you want to enable all these policies, you can enable. See, require at least one approval. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is I just kept one reviewer and I can approve my own changes and check for linked work item. Forget about this. Check for comment resolution. See, click to see that all the comments has been resolved on pull request. So whatever the comments that you has been tried to commit, whether all the comments has been resolved properly or not. If you keep this on, then it will be fine. In real time, this is not going to be used. Mainly in real time, we are going to use this required number of reviewers. Limit merge types. See this. You might have seen these four options somewhere. Where when you are trying to complete the PR, it give me squash, commit, linear base merge, and then rebase fast forward all this. You will understand this after some time, not right now. So if you want to limit the merge type to only basic, then you can specify only basic. So just turn that off. So these are some of the branching policies. I just kept how many number of reviewers? Only one. And then see this. I just added this. If you see, I have added only till this point. This is and this is different completely. There are three other. As of now, I just turned this only one. What I have done, I just enabled branching policy. What it will do, it will protect my main branch. It will protect my main branch. How it is going to protect as of now? So one reviewer I have added, this person needs to be approved. Did I add the person? I haven't said who is the person. Now just go back and go to future branch. Now I'm in the Kia repository. Let me just go to the Kia repository. In the Kia repository, we have main and feature. Let me just go to the feature branch. I will add a new file. Okay, not the feature branch, just go to the main branch. Now I have protected this main branch, right, by enabling the branching policy. Now try to add some data directly into the main branch. See what happens. I'm just going to make this as file 3. Commit this. The push was rejected because one or more of the commit contain author email validation, which does not match the following specified pattern. This way, it is one. Let me show you the another thing also. Let me off this. Let me turn off this. And let's go to the branching policy. This is the default branching policy, and I did all this. That's fine. Let me create the same file again, and let's try to commit this again. Pushes to this branch are not permitted. You must use a pull request to update this branch. See what it is saying? You cannot directly make the changes into the main branch because branching policy is enabled. So if you want to make the changes, then you need to use a pull request. Okay. So in the main branch, I cannot modify anything. So I'll just go to the future branch. Leave this, and I want to create a new file. File name is called file 3. Just create it. Add something and commit it. In the future branch only I committed. Now if I want this file to be available in the main branch, what I need to do? Pull request. Go to pull request and create the pull request And you see how many files you are going to keep. File 3. How many commits? One commit. Okay. Now this is where you see reviewers. This is where you need to add the reviewers. So I have one user added, right? Azure DevOps 325. So I just added this person as the reviewer. Whether this person signed in, this person is not signed up, and he is not a specific user. So whatever I want to use is, if I want to approve, I can approve, but I cannot approve that Azure DevOps person, right? Because he is not even signed in. So I will use this person only as the reviewer. So just for the reference process. Hemant. I added this reviewer and just create it. And see this, at least one reviewer must approve. And see this, Hemant Reddy created the pull request and it is waiting, like at least one reviewer must approve. So I'll just approve this. And you can see here, Hemant Reddy approved the pull request. Set autocomplete. What kind of merge you want to do? Merge fast forward, like a squash committer. So just go with the default. See, Hemant Reddy set the pull request to set automatically complete when all the policies succeed. Since I am the only one user who is trying to approve my own changes, but in real time it will be different persons. So there they will what they used to get is, they used to get an email saying that you are added as a reviewer. You need to approve the pull request. Once you approve, then only the code will be merged. Okay. Now let's consider one more scenario. So I am going to create one more file in the future branch, or else I'm just going to make this file change. Edit, some random message, just commit this. I want to create the pull request again. Go to pull request. So it is created, my it shows. So this will take some time because it is my own changes, right? So that's why it set into automatically. At least one reviewer must approve. So other people must approve. If I add the other user, they can approve it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to, till this complete, this is going to be something. I want to create one new pull request. Feature into main branch. An active pull request is already exists between the selected branches. View pull request to. I'll do one thing. If I make the changes, you will be getting something else. I'll show you. I just changed the repo to demo repo. Master branch I have. I'll create a new branch called future branch. Based on master, I want to create this. So in the feature branch, I want to add one more, like in the main branch, let's see whatever I have done till now, again I'm doing the same. Go to master branch and try to create a file. Go to new file, file one. Add this to the direct branch, master branch itself. Will it allow or not? Pushes to this branch are not permitted because I have enabled branching policies. So that's why what I am going to do is, I am going to create a file in the future branch. New file, and this is file 1, and commit the changes. Once it is committed, I need to create a pull request. So I want to create a pull request, feature into main branch or master branch. Here you need to add the reviewers. So I will add this person, Azure DevOps 325. And once I create the request, what happens? See it. So at least one reviewer must approve this. Now go back to the person's email address and see whether he has received any request or not. See, PR added, file 1 demo rep 1. Hemant Reddy created a pull request. So view pull request, and if he wants to approve, he can approve. And see this, view the pull request. Then it will go to that person account, and it will take you to that page, whatever I was seeing there. So this is how you can see what is the commit message, commit ID. All these things you can see in the pull request. Like this, in the real time, you are also going to get the emails if you are added as a reviewer. Like this, my manager will get the request because my manager is the person who is going to protect the branches. So that's why once he sees this, he is going to see how many files he has added, what he is trying to make the changes, in which branches he is trying to make the changes. All those things he is going to see here. And let's go to the DevOps part. And this way you can accept it. So until unless that particular Azure DevOps 325 person accepts that, this will not be getting completed. Understood? This way you have protected the security to your branches or not. So this is how you can make use of reviewers. Now consider a scenario. There is only we all are developers. You guys all are developers, and I am the only one reviewer. You are trying to create the pull request, and I am getting the mail, but at that day I am on leave. So what is your next step? I will be on leave for the next 7 days. So until unless I approve, your changes will not be gone to the main branch. So at that time, what you are going to do? You used to call me and approve. No, right? You cannot call and ask me like approve. So what you can do? So if you see the options here, required means mandatory. The people who are mandatory, they should approve it, or else it is not going to be approved. I'll show you the same settings in the repository wise. I just created like one number of reviewer, and if you go here, like if you go here, this is the pull request, right? At least one reviewer must approve. So that means and one mandatory person should approve. Mandatory means required. Optional means whether he can approve or not. That is not going to make any change. So we are six people, or else just consider me. Along with me, there are three people. You kept me, my name, and some other person name as required, and you kept the other two persons as optional. If these two persons make even approve, those two are under optional only, right? That is not going to be considered. Until unless we two people approve, then only the pull request is going to be completed. That is what the importance for required. If the required number of people approves, then only the PR gets completed. Now, what the question is, you sent a pull request to me, and at that day I'm on leave. So what I need to do? So what you guys are going to do? So earlier I was a required number of people. Now what they will do is they will change my name to the optional. The person who is sitting aside with you, like next to you, or you are a team leader or a team manager, you will add that person as a required people, and then they will approve it, right? In that way, you can make the pull request to be completed. అర్థమైంది కదా? So,
if we create a file in batch local system, then we try to merge. We have to know.
you create a file in local system, and if you try to merge, and okay, understood your point. He was saying from the user interface, we need to create a pull request and then we need to merge it. Then what I will do is I will directly create the file in the git bash local main itself, and then I will try to push the main file from local to the remote. Is it going to push? What do you think? What do you think? We already protect the main branch, right? Whatever you want to push directly into the main branch, it is not going to happen. Directly, even if from the git bash, if you try to push it to the main branch, it is not going to take. What it will understand is in the real time also what everybody does is
So
forget
the changes we not pull us.
the changes
We did not pull us.
without pulling you cannot even push, right? Without pulling, even if you try to push it, you cannot push. So what happens in the real time is they used to clone the complete repository. They used to work on the future branch, and then they will merge it into which branch? Main branch. And then also what once they done it in the local system, they used to push the changes from the future branch to the future branch in the repo. Future to the future they will push, and then they will merge it into main branch by using a PR. Because directly if you try to push it into the main, it is not going to happen. So that is one more way. Whatever you have asked is a good question. Like here we are not able to complete it, right? So clone it everything into the local and merge the changes from future to the main and directly push it to the main. It won't allow basically. So whatever you need to do, you need to create a PR itself. And see here, I can add the number of required and the reviewers, right? Optional people I can add, required people also I can add. For example, the request went into some person, that person is on leave. Then what you used to do is add the other person as a reviewer. I'll add this person as a reviewer. So Hemant must approve. And in the optional person, I can, even if I want to make him as a remove, I can remove that person. So if Hemant approves it, immediately the pull request is going to be completed. Like this we can make it, since this is the only one user account and I am trying to make my own changes. That's why it is just going under the queue. If you disable these policies, again what happens is even if you approve, it is going to take this. See, Hemant Reddy set the pull request to automatically complete when all the requirements are met. What are all the requirements? See this merge strategy, no fast forward, and at least one reviewer must approve. So to practice this, what we need to have is first we need to add the number of users. So you can make the users to be optional or required. And once if you add them, once if they approve, then you will be able to see the complete pull requests are getting completed or not. Since in this account, how many number of users we have? Only two. One is my admin account and second one is the other person account, and that other person account is not even signed up. So we cannot show that process right away. Okay. So when you are practicing, if anybody created this Azure DevOps account, like you have the organization, right? Try to invite the other people. So you can invite up to 5 users with basic license. With basic license, you can invite 5 users. So take the other person's email address and invite them. So once they join in your organization, try to create the pull request and add them as the reviewers. Okay. And if you see here, I created the pull request, right? Each and every time, do I need to add the reviewers? This is what the next point that I am going to get. For example, I need to add 10 persons as the required. That means I need to get the approval if I want to make any changes. I need to get the approval from 10 people. Each and every time I cannot manually add all the people, right? I want to include them automatically. These 10 people should be automatically included. At that time, what I can do is go to this branching policies, automatically include reviewers. Okay, what kind of people? This person. I want to make him as required. Just add this. And then I want to add one more person. I want to make him this person as optional. Save this. Like this, you can add n number of people. Even if you want to make them turn off, you can turn this off. Okay, so as of now, we have seen branching policies, repository policies, and automatically including the number of reviewers. What about the build validation? What about the status check? This we will see in the next classes. I'll tell you why build validation is required. Once you write the code, what happens? You need to build it. If the build is failing, that means your code is correct. No, right? Once if the build is succeeding, then only if the build gets succeeded, then only merge the code changes into main branch, or else do not merge it. అండర్స్టూడ్ ద పాయింట్. అది మీకు సక్సెస్ అయితేనే తీసుకెళ్ళి మెయిన్లో కలపండి, లేకపోతే అది కలిపిన ఏం ఉపయోగం? వేస్ట్ కదా అది. అందుకని బిల్డ్ వ్యాలిడేషన్ కూడా చెక్ చేస్తారు. So validate the code by pre-merging and building the pull request changes. See, no build policies found. If you want to specify the build policies, you can build the specific policies. So until unless the build gets successful, you should not merge it. These are some of the policies. We have seen branching policies and repository-wise policies. Why branching policies are used?
To protect the
To protect the branches. What are name some of the few branching policies that you have used? No, no, no. Name some of the branching policies that you have used. Adding the required number of reviewers and limiting the merge types, and then case enforcement method on the repository policies, and see this build validation, check for linked work items. All these are called as branching policies. Required number of reviewers I added. Check for linked work items. Check for comment resolution. Limit merge types. Build should be valid successful. And status checks. So all these are called as branching policies. When it comes to the repository wise policies, so go to repositories and so go to policies. These are called the repository policies. Commit either author email validation, file path validation, case enforcement, reserved names. All these are called as repository wise policies. Till this point, any doubt? So, so for from coming from tomorrow, so we will be joining you with the other batch. So they are also at the same point only.